In today's video, I'll be taking you through NBA player props for opening night. Let's get busy, baby.
Y'all motherfuckers when they get some free tips, best bets, go ahead and flex some. Pick winners all the time, hit it on a daily. This is all free, you don't even have to pay me.
Welcome to the Dark Preview Show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure many of you guys are as excited as I am. We've been waiting a very long time for the NBA to come back. Opening night is tomorrow. It's probably today, depending on where the fuck you are on this bloody earth. But I've got a few player props I want to take you guys through. I aim to do a couple of videos like this every single week. I will have tips out every single day, but those are going to be shared in the Discord. If you haven't already, join the Discord. The link is in the description of this video. It is the most engaging punting community. It is growing every single day. And the best part about it is that it's all free. Firstly, let's say hi to everyone in the chat. We've got Harry's in there, Hobbo's there, Huncho, Cam Bestie's in the chat. To answer your question, no glasses at the moment, mate, because I've got myself my own basketball game straight after this video, bruh. So the contact lenses are in, let me tell you. Now I'm going to go through a couple of player props. Feel free to get busy in the chat if you have any questions about any players or if there are any props that you think are going to bang. Feel free to drop in the comment section. Let's get interactive as fuck. But kicking things off first, it's the Boston Celtics versus the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm looking forward to this matchup the most. Odds are pretty tight on this one. Celtics were right up there as contenders for this season after falling a couple of games short last year. Had a couple off-season controversies which may have ruined that, but we're not here to talk about who's going to win and how much. We can talk about it in the Discord. This video is purely on player props only. So I've got a few that I want to share. Well, actually, the majority of them are for this very first game. Some of them quite obvious. I've seen a few people tip this already. Others took a fair bit of insight, and that's something that I'm good at. So kicking things off, before I get these player props, drop a comment for me. Drop a comment. Who do you think wins the chip this year? Who wins the chip? We know that better's got $101 odds. Let me know who wins the chip and who I should put my $10 on. Outside of that, let's get straight into some player props. Kicking it off, we got this bloke, JAYLEN Brown. So what I'm looking at in this game is the first prop is JAYLEN Brown to go over 23.5 points. You can find him for $1.89 on Sportsbet. But if you're a value chaser and you like singles, when I checked this last night, you could get him at 21.5 points for $1.83 on Bet365. So you can buy 2 points for only 6 cents. So if you're playing the singles, get on Bet365 and take JAYLEN Brown over 21.5 points. Reason being, one, he averaged 22.5 points against Philly last year. He's hit this 23.5 line. He only hit it at 43% last season. In comparison to Jason Tatum, who also has a line of 23.5 points, I think he covered that close to 60%. Now, the reason why I'm leaning towards JAYLEN Brown is he shot a great percentage in all preseason games, and that was all in limited minutes. He did lead the Celtics in scoring in all the games that he played. The other reason that Matisse Thybulle, who just happens to be the best perimeter defender for the Philadelphia 76ers, will be defending Jason Tatum for the majority of the game. And I can see JAYLEN Brown scoring easily in isolated situations. Another interesting fact, which you'll probably hear through a couple of these props, is the fact that Robert Williams is going to be out for the Boston Celtics. For those of you who don't know, he is their center. Now, in the 2 games where Boston played without Robert Williams last season, those were the 2 games where JAYLEN Brown went off. So the 2 games without Robert Williams, JAYLEN Brown scored 30 points and 29 points. And the reason behind that is when they don't have Robert Williams, they have to play with a lot more pace. Pace suits players just like JAYLEN Brown. They have less pick and roll action. We know that Robert Williams may crowd the paint at times. So having no Robert Williams actually helps JAYLEN Brown with this prop. So very first prop is to take JAYLEN Brown over 23.5 points. And part of the reason why I'm not taking Jayson Tatum over 23.5 points, despite that line seeming quite low, is against the defenders. He's going to have Thibault on him, and if he doesn't have Thibault, he's going to have PJ Tucker on him. So they're going to be having a lot of focus on Jayson Tatum, so I'm not touching his points. I'm all on Jaylen Brown, baby. Now, our next prop for the day happens to be Jayson Tatum. Now, this prop I've seen in quite a few Discord servers. A lot of people are tipping on it, and if you're an average bettor, you'll easily identify this trend. So we're looking at Jayson Tatum over 7.5 rebounds. You can get that for $1.95 on Sportsbet. But if you're chasing value and you're backing singles, you can get him at $2.05 on Ladbrokes. $2.05 on Ladbrokes. Tatum over 7.5 rebounds. We'll take him to get 8. He's hit this line on 51% of his games last season. The reason why everybody is picking this prop, and part of the reason why I'm picking him for this prop, is that he averaged 12 rebounds a game in the 4 games against the 76ers last season. Fucking unbelievable. That was whether Robert Williams played or not. Jayson Tatum was a rebounding machine. Now, partly is because Philly aren't, don't have decorated shooters. It's also partly because the Celtics are going to double team Embiid, so a lot of people are going to naturally camp the paint. People like Tatum are not going to box out, so those easy rebounds are going to be there for him to pick up. The other reason why I like his rebound line is the fact that during the preseason, I know he only played limited minutes. He only played 3 games. In those 3 games, I think he averaged about 24 minutes a game. He still led the team in rebounds in 2 of those 3. I think he got 10 rebounds, 9 rebounds, and 6 rebounds. So just what I've seen in the preseason, plus his form against the 76ers tells me this is a great fucking bet to get on. So I know a lot of people are tipping it, and I'm not disagreeing. Take Jayson Tatum to get some boards, baby. It's happening. Now, before we start talking about some of the props in the Philadelphia 76ers, let me answer some questions for you. So, Huncho, does the Celtics off-court drama affect how their season will go this year? Yes, it will. Udoka is a good coach, and he showed that last year. I don't know if he's the mastermind behind their defense, but the Celtics defense was fucking awesome. I don't feel like it's going to rule them out completely, but at the same time, I think it will impact them. You're missing your head coach. But I think they'll still be one of the contenders in the East. Let's put it that way. Let's get into the Philadelphia player props, shall we? The first one, Joel Embiid. Now, this big motherfucker, I've actually got 2 player props for you. One of them is probably a common prop that you're going to see from a lot of tippers out there because the form is obvious. The other takes a little bit of insight, and it has something to do with Robert Williams. So, firstly, the easy one, plus is quite a value play here. We're taking Joel Embiid to rack up over 3.5 assists. You can get that for $2.10 on Sportsbet. But if you're chasing singles, you can get it at $2.45 on Bet365. Fucking massive value. Looking at last season's form, he's hit this line on 53% of his games last year, but he hit this in every single game against the Boston Celtics last season. He averaged almost 25 points a game. He averaged 12.5 rebounds and 5.8 assists against Boston in 4 games last season. Now, one thing to keep in mind, his assist numbers have dropped. They dropped since Harden joined the team. I think he went from 4.5 down to 3.6. So almost a full assist a game he's dropped since James Harden joined the team. But given his overperformance against the Celtics, this can't be overlooked. Another reason why I think this play's gone bang is no Robert Williams for the Boston Celtics. They got no big man to really defend Joel Embiid. I imagine Al Horford's going to spend a lot of time on him. What that means is Embiid will spend more time in the post. He'll spend less time in the pick and roll. The Celtics will double team Embiid. And if you base it off last season's game, I did check out all the highlights, especially for his assists. What you'll find is Joel's going to get these assists. He's going to have Thibault cutting backdoor, Harris cutting through the lane or sitting in the corner. You have Tyrese Maxey open for kickouts and open threes, Plus, you see Tyrese Maxey in transition. So I expect Embiid to even just get some rebounds, let that ball go. He a lot of the times he actually dribbles the ball up the court, but I think he can get these 4 assists here, especially if he's averaging 5.8 last season. His lowest tally was 5. If we're saying his assist numbers have dropped by 1 since James Harden, at least we're looking at 4 assists here for Joel Embiid, and that's where this line is. So $2.45, tremendous value as a single at Bet365. I know a lot of people use Sportsbet, and so do I. You can still get that at plus money at $2.10. Now, the second player prop, it's actually Joel Embiid as well. I had a look at the props for James Harden. I had a lean for James Harden assists. I think over 8.5 assists. He did cover that at 66% of his games last year, but I'm not a big fan of James Harden. So that's why I was leaning that way, but I felt a little bit horny around this one. And the reason why this one got me a little bit aroused is purely because this is against the grain. So a lot of people are going to see that Robert Williams isn't playing for the Boston Celtics, which means Joel Embiid is going to feast. What they're talking about when they look at feasting is they're looking at his rebound numbers. So I'm actually taking Joel Embiid under 11.5 rebounds, which is against the trend. You can get that for $1.73 on Sportsbet, who are ripping us off, by the way. But you can also get that for $1.90 on Ladbrokes if you're playing these as singles. Here's the analysis. So Joel Embiid averaged 12.5 rebounds in 4 games against the Celtics. Huge. One thing to keep in mind, though, let me just take you through his games. He had 18 rebounds, 10 rebounds, 13 rebounds, and 9 rebounds in the 4 games against the Celtics last year. Now, 2 of those games against the Celtics, Robert Williams did not play. Most people would assume with no big man in the middle, Joel Embiid's going to get more rebounds. The actual matter of the fact is when Williams is out, Joel Embiid's rebound rate drops. So in the 2 games where Robert Williams did not play, Embiid pulled 10 rebounds and 9 rebounds. Now, the reason why that happens is Al Horford, who typically plays the 4 when Williams is playing, will be moved into the 5 position. And on offense, he always hangs around the perimeter. He sets high pick and rolls, or he sits in corners, or he sits on the wing. What that means is if Embiid is going to be defending Al Horford, he's not going to be in position to get rebounds. We know that James Harden and Tobias Harris, they are known to sag around the paint on defense, but also PJ Tucker. I'm confident those smaller guys are going to snake some of these rebounds for Embiid. So I feel like I'm fading the public on this one. A lot of people are picking Embiid to have a monster rebounding game. I'm going the opposite. I think he still has a great game. He's going to be dominant. Hopefully it's in the assists and points market. But, not on the rebound. So I'm taking Embiid under 11.5 rebounds. The best place to get that is on Ladbrokes for $1.90. Now, my boy Hunter, keeping me busy. Will this year be the season that they make the finals, or will it be the same story for Philly? Them falling short yet again. Both Embiid and Harden ain't getting any younger. Well, you're right about their age. I think Harden's on the other side of his prime. He's clearly on the decline, but still very effective for what he does. Embiid had those injuries early. I think he can still improve. As bigs, they tend to get better as they get a bit older. He did miss a lot of time when he was in his early years as well, so his body didn't really take a beating. But, you're right. Their team overall is getting quite old, so their window is closing. So will this be the year that they make the finals? I think this is the year that the 76ers finish first in the regular season. I think they'll have the most dominant regular season from out of all the East teams. They're very deep. They've got a great bench. They've got some great pickups. Daniel House, great defender, great shooter. PJ Tucker, great defender, rebounder, can shoot. They add a lot of depth. They obviously start Thibault off the bench. I do like what the 76ers have done. They've got Trez, who's a beast. He's so effective in limited minutes. So if they want to rest Embiid or he has some niggling injuries, I still think the 76ers are going to be a problem. Can they go all the way? Fuck, I couldn't tell you. Crazy things happen in the playoffs. Some people cave. Some people get a lot better. That East is scary. Philly's a good team. The Celtics have shown that they can do it. Miami, even though I don't like them, they've shown that they can do it in the playoffs. The Bucks, they've won a chip. I do like them, so they're obviously an opportunity. Brooklyn, if they ever get their shit together, they're going to be scary. Like the East could have 5 different winners. Like there could be any of those teams. So, but I do think the 76ers do have a great regular season. Looking at some other leans though in this game, I also like Marcus Smart. So I picked him up yesterday. I got him for under 12.5 points. The reason why I'm taking that is he had an injured groin in a preseason match against the Raptors. So I also think Brogdon, White, Pritchard, I reckon they could eat into his minutes. Plus, in his games, he only played 3 games against the 76ers last season, and he only averaged 9 points per game in those 3 games. So, nursing an injury, first game of the year, with the pickup of Brogdon, I think they could eat into his minutes. Since then, though, this line has dropped to 11.5 points, and it's still something I would take. I'd take it all the way down to 10.5, to be honest. But yeah, I was leaning to go the unders on Marcus Smart, but there you go. Looking into the final player prop, we're looking into the Warriors versus the Lakers game. So this is the only man I really wanted to touch from that Lakers game, not because I like him, but because he's fairly consistent and he's also quite predictable. I guess the thing that makes it a little bit different is Anthony Davis. So Anthony Davis is back. He played the back end of last year. How is that going to impact LeBron James? So I've checked the numbers with and without Anthony Davis for the Bronsexual. And what you'll find is when Anthony Davis isn't there, LeBron James scores 5 to 6 points more than he normally does. So his scoring average goes up. His rebound average goes up by 2 whole rebounds. And his assists per game actually drops. So now with Anthony Davis, you should expect more assists, less rebounds, and less points for what he normally does. But what you have to keep into consideration is LeBron James's performance whenever he plays against the Golden State Warriors. So in 3 games last season, he averaged 38 points against the Warriors. He averaged 12 rebounds. He got double-digit rebounds in every single game. And he only averaged 5.3 assists per game. So he went under his actual line 2 out of the 3 games. The only game he went over was when they played at Golden State. So it gets a little bit tricky. So the news came out today that Westbrook's hamstring's a bit buckled. Schroeder's going to be out as well. So people are assuming that LeBron's going to play more of a playmaking role. I don't believe that to be the case because who the fuck's he going to play make for? This Lakers team isn't that great. I see Kendrick Nunn probably doing more playmaking, more scoring, a bit more of everything, and LeBron to play his normal game. So I think for me, the only prop that I'll take for LeBron James tomorrow is for him to pick up these rebounds. I looked into the data, and Anthony Davis actually played 2 games against the Warriors last year. So it's not like having Anthony Davis there means LeBron's going to get less rebounds. I double-check that. LeBron James still out-rebound Anthony Davis in those games anyway. So the Warriors are going to try to keep Anthony Davis on the perimeter on defense as much as possible. They're going to make him work. And that's going to keep him out of position. LeBron James doesn't defend the perimeter as well as he used to. He tends to sag the paint. He gets those rebounds uncontested. So I still like LeBron James to go over on the rebound count. His assist, I was initially leading under. And then the news about their guards being out kind of tripped me up a little bit. So it may go over. So realistically, I can't fucking tell you. I don't know what's going to be. In terms of scoring, you would expect, based on last season's form, for LeBron James to go overs in points, but his total is quite high. I think it moved to 26.5 points today. But first game of the season, who knows what type of condition LeBron James is going to be. This could be a blowout, so the starters may not play as much late in the game. Looking at the Warriors, though, that's a difficult one. I think there's value in Steph Curry going off for 40. I feel like Steph Curry goes off for 40 or he goes unders. That's just how the bloke is at the moment. A couple news statements came out around them, reducing Steph Curry's minutes. We know Klay Thompson's not 100% fit and healthy, and neither is Draymond Green. So I'd expect players like Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole to produce. Now, whether it be scoring, whether it be assists for Poole, whether it be rebounds for Wiggins, you're going to see what those two players are going to show up in the stat sheet somehow. But the Warriors are very difficult. They're a very deep team. They do have their big three. Klay Thompson takes a lot of shots. Wiggins takes a lot of shots, but he's quite consistent. Jordan Poole takes a lot. Curry takes a lot. But then you've also seen the emergence of people like Kuminga off the bench, who may play more minutes with Draymond Green not being 100%. So the Warriors are a difficult team to back on player props because they're so evenly spread. So I'm just leaning towards Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins at the moment. I will have some official players in the Discord. Like I said earlier, join the Discord. That's where all the juice is. I do what I can on YouTube, but all the juice is on Discord. It's every single day. The link for that is in the description of this video. But yeah, leaning towards Poole, leaning towards Wiggins. For LeBron, only one I'm confident in right now is taking his rebounds. The other I'm a little bit unsure of. Not touching Anthony Davis. They could turn the aircon up a little bit, and he could get injured straight after that. So you get a nice little flu and rule him out for the next 3 months. So yeah, not touching AD just yet. I'm going to make him prove it to us a little bit more, but that's basically it for today, lads. Look, I appreciate y'all for tuning in to this one. This is the first of many. I would love to get these out every single day. I am going to be dropping player props and multis every single day within the Discord, but I may not have the time to put these YouTube videos together. But I will look to do a couple of these out every single week. So if you don't want to miss these motherfuckers, like, subscribe, turn your notifications on so you don't miss anything. So let's get amongst it, lads. Best of luck tomorrow. It's going to be a great opening night. Can't wait. Free up some time tomorrow evening. I do have a live stream. I do have a special guest coming on who's going to talk specifically about NBA player props. He's an expert tipper, has had a lot of success. Some of you may know him already, but I'm not going to tell you too much. Just tune in tomorrow night. I've got an expert on to talk about NBA player props. Other than that, I'll see y'all fellas in the Discord, lads.
Y'all motherfuckers, when they get some free tips, best bets, go ahead and flex some. Pick winners all the time, hit it on a daily. This is all free, you don't even have to pay me.